Hello, it's Michelle. I'm here today to talk to you about my most anticipated books of 2023 Winter Edition. I'm going to be doing January, February, and March. I had originally thought it might be a really good idea to do a buying freeze with my books because I have plenty of books and I just got an order of books for the first 6 months of the year to give me plenty to pick from. And I'm waiting for all of them to arrive. When they do, I'll do a book haul. But I thought, yeah, maybe I should do a buying freeze. And then one of the books on this list came across my phone, and I thought, I have to have that. I can't wait. I'm going to try to not buy any books, though, after these books arrive. Do you want to come say hi? Do you want to come say hi? Nobody can see you. Nobody can see you. Got to jump up. Oh, good girl. Say hi. I've decided I want to try to ignore ratings a little bit when it comes to my selection of what I want to read. Because I found so many times the books that I end up really loving don't have the highest ratings, or they're books I've never even heard of that I found somewhere or just stumbled upon. The first book on my list is Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. In this book, a woman named Nina gets in an argument with her husband. Her husband leaves, and she thinks, okay, he went to somebody's house, one of our friends or something. He's just blowing off steam because he's mad at me. But he ends up being gone for overnight, and then 2 days, and then 5 days. And she's obviously very flustered and trying to figure out what happened to him. Lily is Nina's friend and coworker, and Lily tells her husband that she thinks that she may have been the last person to see Nina's husband before he went missing. And they decide that nobody can find out what happened leading up to Jake's disappearance, especially not Nina. What? What happened? I mean, that's definitely got me intrigued. And so Nina is not going to stop searching until she finds him. She doesn't feel like it's like him to just disappear like that. So I think this sounds pretty fun. Then we've got All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. Now, I did read her debut novel. What's it called? Is it still over here? I think I donated it to the library. Anyway, she had a debut novel that I read and I enjoyed. Stacey Willingham is an author that writes thrillers that have a psychological twist to them, and they're very slow burn. So I think she's not everybody's flavor, but I'm a big slow burn fanatic, so that works for me. In this book, Isabella's life changes forever when her toddler son Mason is taken out of his crib in the middle of the night while her and her husband are asleep. There's very little evidence for the police to investigate, and the case goes cold very quickly. But she can't rest until she finds her son, understandably, right? But quite a bit of time goes by, and she can just take cat naps or black out, but she can't actually get full sleep. She's really starting to lose her bearings and probably her sanity at some point with that little sleep for that long. So her entire existence at this point revolves around finding her son. So she agrees to be interviewed by a true crime podcaster in the hopes that maybe somebody will come forward and give them some new clues. His incessant questioning paired with her severe insomnia has brought up uncomfortable memories from her own childhood, making her start to doubt her recollection of the night of Mason's disappearance, as well as second guess who she can trust, including herself. Okay, what? So that also sounds like a book that's going to have an unreliable narrator, which I really enjoy. Keeps me on my toes a little bit. Locust Lane by Stephen Amidon, which is a mystery. I do love this cover though. It's a little bit different than what I typically see. I love the colors, and I love the road and the car going down the road with the lights on and everything. What really stands out to me about this book is it says it's for fans of Mystic River by Dennis Lehane and Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. Well, that's really all I need to know. I loved the book Mystic River. The next one, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. Let me know what you think. Love Pamela by Pamela Anderson is coming out at the end of this month. It's got really low ratings. People are saying her writing is very bad and it's all over the place, which is understandable because she's not a writer, but it might be kind of juicy, right? Like I kind of want to read it. I'm thinking maybe the best option though would be to listen to the audiobook if it comes out on SCRIBD, and then I don't have to pay so much money for it unless I love it, and then I'll go ahead and buy it. But what do you think? Is that a book that you're interested in reading or listening to? Pamela Anderson's memoir? I want to know. Then we have an author that at this point I'm pretty sure might be a go-to author for me. That would be Exiles by Jane Harper. I have read 2 of her books, and one I absolutely loved. The other one I really, really enjoyed. And this book is the 3rd book in the Aaron Falk series. That's the series where The Dry was the first book in the series, which was an amazing book. I actually really liked the movie too. I thought it did a good job of sticking with the book, which is pretty rare. But I have not read Force of Nature, which is the 2nd book in the series. I don't know if I will, though, because I did read somewhere that the 2nd book in the series barely even has Aaron Falk in it. And I'm thinking, well, do I need to read it then? Or can I just skip to the 3rd one? A year ago, Aaron Falk traveled to the South Australian wine country to celebrate the christening of his godson, his friend Sheriff Racco's son. But the event was canceled when Racco's sister-in-law vanished that weekend, leaving her baby asleep in the stroller. Now Falk has returned for the rescheduled christening, noticing cracks in this once well-knit group, prompting the disclosure of long-kept secrets. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean that he's going to be trying to find the sister-in-law? Or do they know what happened to her? Or the synopsis on this one is not really appealing, but because of it being a Jane Harper book and it being one of the Aaron Falk books, I'm pretty interested in it. But if you have any thoughts on that, let me know what you think. This next book is the one that I had to purchase. It's supposed to be here on Tuesday. And that's How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. It is a horror novel. I've only read 3 books by Grady Hendrix, but for me, he's a go-to author. I really love his books. Every childhood home is haunted, and each of us are possessed by our parents. When their parents die at the tail end of the coronavirus pandemic, Louise and Mark Joyner are devastated, but nothing can prepare them for how bad things are about to get. The 2 siblings are almost totally estranged and couldn't be more different. Now, however, they don't have a choice but to get along. The virus has passed, and both of them are facing bank accounts ravaged by the economic meltdown. Their one asset? Their childhood home. They need to get it on the market as soon as possible because they need the money. Yet before their parents died, they taped newspaper over the mirrors and nailed shut the attic door. I mean, I understand lockdowns can do that to you, right? Well, maybe not that bad, but sometimes we feel like puppets, controlled by our upbringing and our genes. Sometimes we feel like our parents treat us like toys or playthings or even dolls. The past can ground us, teach us, and keep us safe. It can also trap us and bind us and suffocate the life out of us. As disturbing events stack up in the house, Louise and Mark have to learn that sometimes the only way to break away from the past, sometimes the only way to sell a haunted house, is to burn it all down. So I will read it as soon as it arrives, and I will get back to you on what I think of this book, but I can't wait to read it. Then in February, we have a book called The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, and this is her debut novel. This book is about Alex, who is invited to attend a month-long writing retreat at the estate of a feminist horror writer. She knows it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She's super excited. Upon arrival, it's explained that each attendee has a month to write a novel from scratch, and the winner will receive a large publishing deal. But as strange things begin to happen, and one of the writers vanishes in a storm, Alex goes from wanting to be published to wanting to make it out alive. Then we've got The Angel Maker by Alex North. I have read 2 of his books now, and for me, there's just something very special about his writing, and he's a go-to author for me now. I really like this cover. There's not a lot to it, but there's something, I don't know, enchanting about it for me. This is a dark, suspenseful new thriller about the mysteries of fate, the unbreakable bond of siblings, and a notorious serial killer who was said to know the future. There's certain kinds of books that we're all drawn to, right? In fact, let me know down in the comments, what can you read in a synopsis that will make you want to read a book? For me, one of them is a book about siblings, especially a brother and a sister. I don't know if this is brother and sister or not, because I think I've mentioned before, I just have brothers. I don't have a sister. Not that I don't like books about sisters, but sometimes they get a little bit too mushy and flowery for me. And I don't understand that kind of connection because it's just not something I've ever experienced. But I do really love books about a brother and a sister, or if it is sisters, maybe not so flowery and so cheesy. And a serial killer who is said to know the future? Wow. I mean, that brings up all kinds of questions for me. So, who are they killing? Why are they killing them? Are they killing them because of things they might do in the future? That's a lot to unwrap, and I feel like I have to read it. She is a Haunting by Trang, Tran. This is a YA horror novel, and I don't typically read YA horror novels, but I will if I think they look good. And this one definitely sounds good. It's got something in the synopsis that makes me feel like I have to read it. And I love the cover too. A house with a terrifying appetite haunts a broken family in this atmospheric horror, perfect for fans of Mexican Gothic. Now, I haven't read Mexican Gothic. It's on my wish list. But it really kind of hit me when I was reading Rebecca how much I love books about houses, about the soul of a house. Whether it's a happy house or an angry house or whatever. I loved The Dutch House, The Hacienda, The Paris Apartment, just books about, even the apartment is still a building, right? Books where a building or a house or have a soul of their own. It's just very fascinating to me, and I love a structure being a character in a book. When Jade arrives in Vietnam for a visit with her estranged father, she has one goal: survive 5 weeks pretending to be a happy family in the French colonial house Ba is restoring. She's always lied to fit in. So if she's straight enough, Vietnamese enough, American enough, she can get out with the college money he promised. But the house has other plans. Night after night, Jade wakes up paralyzed. The walls exude a thrumming sound while bugs leave their legs and feelers in places they don't belong. What? My mind is going into some very disturbing places with that. Okay. She finds curious traces of her ancestors in the gardens they once tended. And at night, Jade can't ignore the ghost of the beautiful bride who leaves her cryptic warnings. Don't eat. Neither Ba nor her sweet sister Lily believe that there is anything strange happening. Ooh, that's the worst, when people don't believe you. With help from a delinquent girl, Jade will prove this house, the home her family has always wanted, will not rest until it destroys them. Maybe this time she can keep her family together. As she roots out the house's rot, she must also face the truth of who she is and who she must become to save them all. Yep, I want to read that one for sure. The next one is Evil Eye by Etaf Rum. It's a fiction book, and it's by the same author who wrote this one. If you've read this, let me know. I've had it on my TBR shelf for a while, like a hot minute. And if you think it's worth reading, let me know. Maybe that'll inspire me to push it further up on my must-read list. Okay, this one is about a woman named Yara. This one is about a woman named Yara who marries this charming entrepreneur and moves to the suburbs. She thinks she's finally escaped her conservative Palestinian upbringing. Yet even her dream job with her dream family doesn't seem to fulfill her. What are you doing, Oliver? I know you don't have to go potty. Stop. I'm going to put that up there so you stop trying to bite it. It's a pencil. You can't have my pencil. No. No pencils for you. Ah! Even her dream job with her dream family doesn't seem to fulfill her. As her world begins to implode, she realizes that the upbringing that she thought she left behind has lasting consequences for her and her daughters. So from what I understand, this book is about overcoming, I'm not sure what it's called, but overcoming your family's past. You know how like our families can, what is that called? Like a genetic footprint or something where our family's history can affect us and how we view the world. And this book, this character is trying to overcome that, which I think is really quite intriguing, actually. What Have We Done by Alex Finlay. I still want to read Night Shift, which came out, I think, about 6 months ago or something. This one is a tale about the lives we leave behind and the secrets we carry with us forever. Both an edge-of-your-seat thriller and a gut-wrenching coming-of-age story. I love coming-of-age stories. That sounds really fun. It says that 25 years ago, 5 teenagers formed an unbreakable bond while living at a abusive group home for wayward teens. Although they didn't keep in contact, they've all gone on to lead successful lives. But when members of the group begin dying, they are forced into a reunion. None of them wanted to find the killer. Then we have a book coming out on the 14th that is by Harlan Coben, I Will Find You. And you know, anytime Harlan comes out with a book from here on out, I am going to show up. I love Harlan Coben books. They just have a feel about them that I find very, very, very addictive. And yeah, I have to read this one. 5 years after a tragedy, David Burrows is serving a life sentence for the murder of his son, and his ex-wife, Cheryl, has since remarried. Yet one day, Cheryl's sister shows up at the prison with an impossible claim. a current photo of David's son alive in the background. Now David must break out of prison to discover the truth of what really happened that night. I can't wait. I cannot wait for this one too. And that's the problem is Grady Hendrix comes out with a book. I have to get it. Harlan Coben's coming out with a book. I have to get that. That's why I know there's no way I can actually go on a buying freeze unless this is a book of the month selection, which I don't think Harlan Coben's ever been a book of the month author, but I have to read this one. It sounds wonderful. Then we have Mothered by Zoye Stage. This one comes out on the 1st of March. I probably should have done these in order, but it's a horror novel, and it was written by the same person that wrote Baby Teeth. But for some reason, that one never stood out to me as a book I was interested in reading, but this one does. During the pandemic, Grace invites her newly widowed mother to come live with her. They've never had a great relationship, but when Grace starts having nightmares of her disabled twin sister who died as a child, and Jackie discovers Grace catfishes people online. When Jackie makes a horrible accusation against her, Grace's sleep-deprived state of mind sees her mother as a threat. So, do the scissors on the cover and this being a horror novel and her seeing her mother as a threat mean that she's going to attack her mom? And then the last book that I have is A House with Good Bones, which is said to be a horror, but I've also read that it's a Southern Gothic, so I'm not sure which one it is. But this is another one where, as you could probably tell by the title, there's a house with a personality of its own, and I am just all about that life. Sam's brother tells her that their mom seems off, and she lives alone on a quiet street in North Carolina, and Sam goes to spend some time with her mom to find out what's going on. She's so excited to go see her mom. She's thinking this is going to be a rare extended visit, and we can just drink boxed wine and watch murder mystery shows and have a wonderful time. But when she gets home, the house doesn't feel the way it used to. She even finds a jar of teeth hidden beneath magazine-worthy rose bushes and vultures circling the garden from above. So she decides to go digging for what these secrets are that her mom apparently has, and stumbles upon some very disturbing things. Those are the books that I'm most anticipating for the rest of winter. I did add some books in the beginning that have already been published, or that have already come out. But if they just came out within the last week or something, I don't think that's a big deal, right? Let me know if you are planning on reading any of these. Do any of them sound really exciting? Do any of them not sound exciting? Let me know. What? What? Puppy, what's wrong? Well, I'm going to let you go because Olive is making it clear that she wants my attention. And I am here to make her happy. And to take good care of her, right? Oh, you look so sad. You're okay. You want to go for a car ride? Go get some lunch? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Happy reading. Bye.